What's up, guys? The attendance tonight was 13,400, sold out, 26 consecutive sellout since the pandemic. Fight of the night, no-brainer, Jan versus O'Malley. Performance of the night went to Bilal and Islam. They all won $50,000. Congratulations. Who's got the first question?
I'm standing down the front right here.
Why is there always helicopters every time I'm doing press conferences?
Pretty wild finish to the main event. Islam Makhachev obviously finished the way, Charles Oliveira, the way that he wanted on the ground. What are your initial impressions after witnessing what we saw in that main event?
I literally didn't hear one word you said.
Just thoughts on the main event.
What did I think of the main event?
Yeah, the finish.
Incredible. I mean, I've been saying all week, you got two of the absolute best in the world in their prime facing off, and you know, when I went up into the octagon after, Habib said, I told you he's the best in the world. And yeah, I mean, to beat Oliveira is one thing, to beat him the way he beat him is another, and as fast as he did it, he looked incredible tonight. You know, the big question going in tonight was how was he going to deal with the pressure? He dealt with it just fine.
And given the way that Charles has looked so dominant lately and the way that Islam beat him pretty handedly, how far do you think he could take this in this reign?
How long do I think he can take this reign? I don't know. That remains to be seen. You know, obviously, looks like Volkanovski's next, so, you know, Volkanovski never ceases to amaze me. Another incredible fight.
Did you know he was going to call out Volkanovski?
I did not, no.
So that...
When I was up there, Habib said to me, we're going to fight all the time and we want to fight everybody. That's what he said to me, you know, after the fight.
So is it safe to say that's going to be the main event for the Perth card?
Probably. I don't know. We'll see.
Where do you go with Charles from here? He seems like he wants to keep fighting. He wants to get that title back. How soon do you want to see him back? I assume you would want him on the Rio card as well.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You know, obviously, you know, the guy's incredible. I mean, up until that fight just happened, you know, he was the best in the world in that weight class. So we'll see what's next.
And looking at the co-main event, were you aware that TJ Dillashaw had that shoulder injury leading up to the fight?
I had no idea. That's a problem. Yeah.
How do you think the Athletic Commission could have missed that? Because he said it had been dislocating a lot throughout training camp.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how could the Athletic Commission know if he doesn't tell us? You know what I mean? You got to tell everybody. You got to tell us. I mean, he looked good. He was in great shape. It's not like he came in out of shape. He looked like he was injured or whatever. But yeah, that's something that he should have told us.
Then, based off of what you had said earlier, was the plan still to have Sean fight Aljamain, considering Sean won and Aljamain won?
Does Sean fight Aljamain now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't make fights, and the fight just happened. We'll see what's next.
And finally, what did you make of Bilal Muhammad's performance? Another victory over a guy ranked below him.
Performance of the night. Yeah, he looked great. He looked incredible.
Dana, what do you think of...
This is insane.
They just do it to mess with you at this point, I think. What did you think of Sean O'Malley's performance? You know, some people think the judges got it wrong. I'm curious about your assessment of it. Did you think he won the fight, and what did you think of his performance? What did you think of Sean O'Malley's win?
Yeah, well, we discussed this going into this fight. Lots of people were like, you know, why are you giving him this fight? It's too soon. He shouldn't be taking this fight. Sean Shelby was right.
Did you think he won the fight? Some people are saying Peter Yan should have got the decision, but did you think O'Malley won? How did you score it?
It was one of those razor-thin, close fights. I could see people saying Yan won the fight. I could see people saying O'Malley won the fight. It's all. What's weird is it wasn't the way I thought it was with the judges' scorecards. I thought, depending on who you gave the first round to, determined who won the fight. But that was not the case, apparently.
There was an incident cage side with Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know if you've heard about that, and if you have, what can you tell us about it?
The guy, you know, boy, I mean, what do I even say about that? It happens, and especially with him. It happens. Any other questions?
Yeah. Do you know why Khamzat was, you know, at that proximity by the cage? Did he get...
Do I know why he what?
Yeah, how did he get that close to the cage, Khamzat? Like, did he go over the barrier, or?
No, he was sitting on our side.
Okay.
So I didn't even know Khamzat was coming tonight. He was invited here by Abu Dhabi. So the seats behind me are owned by Abu Dhabi here in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I wanted to ask, you guys recently put out a statement to the fighters about they can't bet on their own fights and things
Right.
like that. Can you talk us through the process in coming to that conclusion?
Yeah, well, gambling is opening up everywhere in every state, and the people who regulate gambling don't think it's a good idea for fighters to be betting on themselves. And I agree.
Was it becoming a problem?
No, it just shouldn't happen. Should never happen. It doesn't look good. More optics than anything.
And wanted to ask you too, Dan Hardy, your former commentator, made a statement this week saying that the last time you guys were in Abu Dhabi for the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight, that you had staged a video where you showed sympathy for Calvin Kattar, and it was all staged. Did you see that, and do you have a response to those comments?
I don't understand the question. He said that we did what?
He said it was basically staged. He said like you had a
What
mic
kind of sympathy for? What does that mean?
to make it seem like you were showing concern for Calvin Kattar's health when you really didn't have it.
In what way?
Like he said, you had a mic pack on and the camera was on you, and it was kind of all done to show like sympathy towards the fighters.
Well, I don't even know what that means, but I can tell you this: we've never staged anything, ever. And we have a documentary that we filmed during COVID. That's why I was mic'd. I've never been mic'd. I was mic'd because of that. And then, are you talking about when I was talking about let's get him straight to the hospital?
Yes.
Do you know how many fights a week I say that to Hunter or Doc Davidson? No interviews, no nothing. That guy goes straight to the hospital. No whatever.
Yeah. No, I've heard you skip post-fight media and stuff like that. For
100%.
fighters.
I mean, you guys know how many times that's happening. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. So you don't ever have to worry about me staging anything. And I definitely don't give a fuck what Dan Hardy thinks. Dan Hardy's a guy that was mistreating a woman who worked here, and that's why he was fired. So obviously, he's bitter, and I'm assuming that's why he would say something like that. But yeah, I mean, why would I have to stage? Were you at the Calvin Kattar fight?
Yes.
Should I have been concerned about Calvin Kattar?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody should have been concerned about Calvin Kattar that night.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dana, just to your right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned yesterday that you're planning to do Colby versus Khamzat in March. If for whatever reason one of those two can't fight, would you consider putting Bilal up against one of those guys instead, considering his performance tonight?
I have no idea. I mean, right here, right now, I don't know. But, I'm not thinking about what happens if somebody can't fight. We were just trying to make fights. Yeah, I have no idea.
And if Volkanovski does fight Islam in February, does that mean we might see an interim featherweight title fight? If Volkanovski fights Islam in February, is it likely that we might see an interim featherweight title fight?
If he, no, that wouldn't happen.
That was it. Thank you.
Dana,
to your right.
the situation right now at bantamweight division becomes more and more interesting. So, from the point of view of Dana White, what's next for Aljamain Sterling?
What's next for Aljamain Sterling?
He just fought 25 minutes ago. I have no idea.
So, what about the whole overall the bantamweight?
What do you want to see?
Just your opinion.
Huh?
Just your opinion.
Who is it?
Just your opinion about the bantamweight division right
How
now.
about Henry Cejudo? That work? You like that?
Maybe. And
You don't give a shit? Why are you asking me if you don't even give a shit?
because he's a champion right now, and
You couldn't think of any other questions? You just wanted to ask that one?
so
Go ahead. What's your next question?
about your opinion about the bantamweight division right now, current situation.
What do you think about the
It becomes more and more
What
interesting.
do I think
so.
about what?
bantamweight division in general?
I like it a lot. Thanks.
Dana, to your right. Dana,
Yeah.
to your right.
Yep. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's been an incredible event. Abu Dhabi has treated UFC very well, and a lot of fighters, when this card was being made, called out and said that they want to be on this card because of the hospitality Abu Dhabi shows. Can there be any plan in future with respect to an international fight week of sorts happening in Abu Dhabi, where we can have a fight night and a pay-per-view card, so that multiple fighters can then be a part of it?
Would you ever do an international fight week here in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, we've actually talked about that a lot. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Thanks.
Yep.
Dana?
Yeah.
Good evening. Igor Lazarin from Cejudo.
Hi.
Thank you for the event. So, first question, maybe you know already about conflict between Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov and Khamzat Chimaev after main event. And what do you think about this behavior? Maybe UFC will make restrictions, sanctions to these fighters for this behavior.
Khamzat's behavior, will he be punished or sanctioned because of it? Khamzat's behavior, will he be punished or sanctioned because of it?
What did he do?
They fought in.
It's what we do here. It's what we do. This is a rough business. Mean things are said. Sometimes guys get into it. It's our job here at the UFC to make sure that that stuff doesn't happen. Again, we weren't right on it and didn't stop it from happening, but we got in there. Just these things happen. When you get, we have 800 alpha male and females under contract, and sometimes they cross paths at events, and these things happen. It doesn't bother me or hurt my feelings or any of that stuff. We handle it and then we move on. Hey, you.
Oh, okay. You had mentioned Henry Cejudo. Did you have any conversations with him in regards to his return?
No, that guy was just in the top of my head. He asked me that question. I said, maybe Henry Cejudo would be fun. He didn't think so, but I don't know. Maybe other people do.
But have you spoken? Have you guys spoken to Henry recently?
Well, Henry's been out there talking, and he wants to come back, and he wants to, and I think, how long's he been back in the USADA pool? Anybody know how long he's been back in the USADA pool? No? 6 months? Yeah, so, he could fight. So maybe you do him and Aljamain Sterling next. Again, everybody's going to write that I said that that's the next fight. That's what's going to be written. But I'm just saying that would be a good fight for him.
I'm sure Henry Cejudo will be happy to hear that. Speaking of USADA, it appears on the database that Conor McGregor hasn't been tested this year. Would he have to complete 6 months before he can compete? Or how does that work?
Yeah.
So he can't return until 6 months.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Good? Yep.
Hey, Dana. Shadi Al-Shadi, ITP Media Group.
How are you?
I'm great. Great having you in Abu Dhabi. I'd like to ask you a gaming question regarding the UFC game. A lot of fans have been asking, are we going to have Arabic commentary for the next edition of the UFC game? So UFC 5, will it have Arabic commentary as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. That I don't know the answer to, sir, but I will look into that for sure.
And
it should.
Yes.
It should, yes.
And I would like to also request that you also add Etihad Arena as a venue, so it's playable in the game as well.
Have this arena in the actual game.
I'll get it done. Thank you. Yep, go ahead, brother.
Hello, Daniel. My name is Vadim Tikhamirov, Match TV. What do you think about Islam Makhachev in pound-for-pound rankings? Now he's but...
No, it's a great question. Where is he now? I don't even know off the top of my head. What is Islam ranked now in the pound for pound?
He's no.
Oh, well, that's fucking interesting. There you go. Well, I think he's gonna pop up pretty high on Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. We good? Thanks for coming, you guys. Have a good night.